Hey everyone, it's Carissa at Sprinkled with Glitter. Thanks for stopping by today. Over at the Pretty Pink Posh blog this week, they are having an Easter extravaganza. Okay, they're not calling it an extravaganza, but I could not resist calling it an Easter extravaganza. So that's what I'm calling it. So I created a project for over there and I thought I'd share it here as well. I am using the Birdie Notes stamp set as well as the stitched photo frames dies. Those are an oldie but a goodie. And look at my adorable little mini Misty here. Isn't it cute? I'm stamping that little chick in some Memento Tuxedo black ink. I thought I would be Copic coloring this. I ended up going back and watercoloring it. So I had to stamp it in a different ink in the end. But anyway, the whole point is that I stamped the chick. And now I am stamping these little eggs. These are from the Melodies Easter stamp set from Simon Says Stamp. And I'm stamping them in a few colors. I'm stamping them in the willow for the green. This is Twirling Tutu for the pink. And then I also use Lake Shores for the blue. You see that purple color there? I didn't end up using it. So now we're moving on to the bird. I was having fits with my Copic markers today. I don't know what it was. I just wasn't having good luck. And there's some days like that. So I ended up changing my plan. I went back and stamped my chick in a little bit different ink. And now I am using my Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers to watercolor this little dude. I figured watercolor is meant to be free and imperfect. And since I was having a very imperfect day, I just went with it. So I'm using the lemon yellow as well as the regular yellow, and I have scribbled that ink onto a block, and then I've picked it up with a water brush and just watercolored my little chicken, and I was much happier with the results when I did this. So now that I have him all colored and I have my eggs all stamped, I'm going to go ahead and run these through my die cut machine using the coordinating dies, and I'm going to cut all of these shapes out. And then while I have my die cut machine out, I'm also going to cut some of this textured cardstock. This is from Basil. It's called Turquoise Mist, and I'm just using my stitched photo frames die to cut that out. And I love using a simple die cut like this, but adding just that texture on that cardstock really makes this feel that much more special. So if you're looking to keep things a little bit more clean and simple, try things like textured cardstocks. I think they can make a huge difference. Even when you use like a white linen cardstock or a white textured cardstock in your background, I think that really makes a big difference on those clean and simple cards. So now I've just attached a piece of acetate behind that stitched photo frame, and then I cut that stitched photo frame out of some fun foam as well, and I'm attaching that with some Tombow Mono multi glue. So originally I didn't think I was going to do a shaker card with this card here, but I did end up doing a shaker card. So I threw some of those die cut eggs into that shaker window. And I'm also sprinkling in some of the silver shimmer seed beads from Pretty Pink Posh, as well as the 4mm sparkling clear sequins, all inside that shaker window. And then I'm going to cover the back with just a piece of Nina Solar White cardstock. It's a little scrap that I had lying around. I've cut it to where it fits behind that window, and then I'm just attaching that once again with the Tombow Mono multi glue. And then I have my shaker window all put together. Now, this is one of my favorite ways to build shaker cards. I think it's a very easy way to build shaker cards. And the benefit of doing something like this where you build your shaker window separate from your card front is that you can kind of move it around and fix the placement like I'm doing here. So once I'm kind of getting this figured out, I'm going to attach some more of those eggs to the outside of this photo frame. I'm using a little tape runner adhesive to adhere that green one down in the background. And then I'm using foam tape behind the blue and the pink one that I've put towards the front just to give a little variance of dimension and a little depth there. And then I'm also going to attach my little chick with some foam adhesive as well. Now I'm doing a double layer of foam adhesive along his left side because that's going to hang off of the shaker window and I need him to have a little bit of support. So you remember the cards I made last week where I totally screwed up and I had to cut off the backs of those cards and remake them? Well, this is one of those pieces that I ended up cutting off. This is the card back because I had stamped on the wrong side. I'll link that video so you can see me screw up if you haven't seen that already. So I'm making use of that. I'm just cutting it down to make it a card front now. And I'm just going to gold heat emboss this greeting. This is also from the Melodies Easter stamp set from Simon Says Stamp. So I went ahead and prepped the surface of the cardstock with my EK Success powder tool. I stamped that in some Versamark ink, added my gold embossing powder, and now I'm just heat setting that. Now for my card base, I'm using the Basil Pale Rose cardstock. It's cut to 4 1/4 by 11, and then I scored it at 5 1/2, and that'll create my top folding A2 size card. And then as I was kind of putting this together, I felt like it needed some more gold. Of course, right? It needed more gold. So I'm just using the Stitch Borders 4 die to cut some metallic cardstock from Tim Holtz. And then I'm going to add some tape runner adhesive right along the back of that white panel that I created earlier and kind of line up those scallops. And then I'm going to add another strip along that left edge of the card front so that I have a little bit of gold peeking out from both sides. Then I just went ahead and trimmed that off, and then I'm going to mount the whole thing onto my card base. Now, I did need to trim up my card base just a little bit because it wasn't quite proportional to the card front that I created. So this did end up being a little bit smaller than your standard A2 size card, but it's pretty close in size. So now that I have that all mounted onto the card base, I'm going to go ahead and mount my shaker window. I'm just using a little tape runner adhesive along the back of that, and then I'm positioning it onto my card front. And you're going to see me pick this up here. This is kind of how I make sure that everything looks lined up right. Sometimes when I'm looking down on things, I don't get a good sense of how they're really positioned on the card. So when you're creating, you may want to try looking at things from a different angle to kind of see that you have everything where it's supposed to be. So I'm going to finish this card off by adding some sparkling clear sequins along the outside of that shaker window, and I've just used a little multi-medium in the matte finish to adhere those on. And that completes my card for today, a really fun Easter-themed shaker card. As always, I will have links to all the products used in this project in the description at YouTube, as well as over at my blog at sprinkledwithglitter.com, where you can see more still shots and more information. And don't forget to visit the Pretty Pink Posh blog this week, where I'll be sharing the blog post that goes along with this. And you can find more Easter-themed inspiration there this week. Thanks for stopping by today. I hope you enjoyed this project. And until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day.